Hey, hey, what's up, guys? So, let me kind of take you through what I got on my screen. And the reason, to give you a background, the reason I did this is because I'm traveling back and forth to LA quite a bit now for many reasons. Number one, my girlfriend's from here, but I also have friends and family over here in California. And overall, I think it is a good place to purchase something for many reasons. Number one, if I come here every single time and pay 3,000 to 4,000 per month for an Airbnb, even though I would generally divide it up between me and my girlfriend, it would still be quite a bit of money. And if you add that up over the many years I might come here, uh, it will be quite expensive. On top of that, what I have to do is usually book my Airbnb ahead of time. And when I book an Airbnb ahead of time, what's going to happen is I will have to change my travel plans accordingly. And so these are some of the things that kind of make me a little bit it makes me realize how difficult this is going to be to make last minute travel decisions and to be flexible. And I'm always going to have that fear that I'm not going to have enough money and I'm going to run out of money trying to live this kind of lifestyle. And now I'm generally not a frequent traveler, but even if I travel every 6 months to every year and go somewhere and stay somewhere new, even if I want to like come over here and stay for 6 months, I would still be stuck into this short term rental market. And for the time being, there's really not any other better options. And so purchasing might be an option. So to give you a sense, if I go to Airbnb and pick the entire place, not bad. You can actually see some decent deals. But unfortunately, these are not the kind of neighborhoods that I really want to stay in. And by the time you click on, let's say, so Cypress Park. So I am in Glassell Park. That's the name of it. I keep forgetting what neighborhood I'm in. So this is where I'm staying right now, Glassell Park. And if I click on this one, that's 2798. It looks really good, right? The price looks really good. Like, wow, this is such a great deal. But as you guys know, if you have been traveling and use Airbnb, by the time you book it for a month, it's going to come out to about 1,000 more because now there's a new occupancy tax, there's a service fee, and then there's the cleaning fee. And it really isn't that great of a place. I mean, it's doesn't have a lot of natural light, but it's probably in a decent location. I'm guessing it's in a decent location. And really, I have a feeling this one is a bit nicer. Yes, it is. Yep, much more open, a little cluttered, but it has a lot more light. And this should be about even more than 1,000. So this probably should come out to about $5,500, I think, with all said and done. 6,300. I was wrong. I was wrong. But it's got really nice reviews. So you can imagine, I mean, if you want a nice place, it's going to add up. Now, you might say, oh, come on, you don't need a nice place. You can get just a shitty place. All right, let's go over here to Mount Washington, which really actually is not even that shitty of a neighborhood. But this is a superhost and it's new. So the reason it's new, the reason it's this much cheaper is because it is new. It actually doesn't look bad, but it is pretty small. Looks like a studio, and you have a kitchenette. Your unit's here, and this is the house. So this is kind of like an ADU that they built, and it's still $2,600. So not by any means cheap, but doable. So I think those are kind of the options that you can consider. So that said, what about purchasing something? Now, I've lived in a lot of neighborhoods now, and here's one that I kind of want to take you to just to start. Long Beach is in south of LA proper, so it's definitely south of downtown LA, and it is right before you start kind of getting to OC, Orange County. And I put the price intentionally. I only did condos, and I did up to $550, and I did anything hiding or pending. And you can see these are some of the units that I've already looked at that have been checked off. And I'll tell you that there are some this is Los Angeles. This is a good part of Los Angeles, and there is the metro and there's buses, so you can get around fairly easily, and you can see. This area of Long Beach isn't that great. This area of Long Beach definitely isn't great. Belmont Heights obviously is beautiful. Belmont and even Bluff Park is much more desirable, but they're not easy to come by. But if I click on this unit, which I've clicked on many, many, many times, just to look at it, just to get an idea, because this is something I could purchase cash. I can go to my investments and I can cash out $200,000, and I could purchase this. And it's not gorgeous, right? It's not something where I'm like, oh, this is the kind of place that I would love to live in. And it wouldn't have to be, right? I could make it sort of a place where I can just land, as in I'm overseas. I want to come to LA. Maybe I want to work here in a clinic for a few months, and I just need a place to live and work. Okay, this is perfect for that. But what if I come in? I'm here with my partner. Maybe I want to have some family and friends visit. Well, if I have this place, I can book my tickets anytime, and the rest of the time I can rent this out, and or I can have friends stay there. And yes, there will be some carrying costs, which we'll go over in just a minute. But at least I can come anytime I want here, right? It's much easier to make those travel plans. And then I can stay here as long as I need to, until I can find the right booking, the right time for the right price, and then move into something nicer and then leave this empty again, or rent it out. So this is obviously not very pretty on the outside. I totally get it. Kind of got this clunky ass gate, looks a little bit ghetto, but it's got a lot of natural light. It's kind of the old classic old school build, but it's got a window here. It's got a big window there. It's got a low ceiling. You can tell it's got the fan, so probably doesn't have an AC. The windows look directly to another building, so that's obviously not very comfortable. Here's a closet with some makeshift doors. Looks like it's original wood floors from what I can see. And you got big screen door, I think, pointing directly to the outside, and that's probably what's letting a lot of light in. Not great cabinets for sure. The cabinets are a little bit outdated, but I mean, I'm very handy. I feel very comfortable just removing the backsplash, removing this ceramic floor, putting nicer flooring in, and then making open shelves, which is a bit more popular these days. I'd probably leave this, and I'd leave the refrigerator alone. That all looks pretty good. Looks like you got a lot of cooking space over here, and you can always make that into butcher block. And you got another door in the kitchen going to the outside, which is great. Then you come into the bedroom. I'm guessing this is the window. Yep, there's the light coming out, so that's probably the window. It looks like there's another window in the reflection over here. Here's the bathroom, which is very beat up. But this is also another easy fix, right? These are all tiles, so you can rip the tiles down, put new tiles in, and the floors can be redone quite easily. And it looks like it's got a good amount of either mold or something happening over there, so that's something that I would have to fix. The only concern would be with a building like this is a lot of rats, mice, cockroaches, and stuff, especially if the rest of your neighbors are just not that great. But I have a feeling it's probably not that bad. Now, what's the cost on something like this? So I don't care about that. Monthly payment, the HOA seems to be about $200. So usually this is not updated. They put the last HOA price in, so maybe it's closer to $300. No big deal. Property tax seems to be about $300, and I can take a look at that just to confirm it. Anyway, it's $299. Here's the property detail. This is the property history. This is the monthly payment. Home value. Oh, I don't see the taxes. But anyway, maybe I'm not looking at the right place. But that's about what it would come out to for me to, if I didn't have the principal interest, I'd have the property tax, I'd have a bit of homeowners insurance, and I have the HOA dues. Not a lot, man. Probably under $700, I could hold this property without having to do anything, and it would be there available to me. Now, you might say, then go ahead and just go rent a place for $700. Well, you won't be able to find that in LA. That's the problem. There isn't anything that you could just buy, that you could just rent long term for $700 and know that the rent isn't going to go up, or something's going to happen. Anything paranoid that you can think of. So that's just to give you an idea of what is out there. You know, this is just one example. Now, for the other prices that I've found in other neighborhoods, they're not great. They're not. I wouldn't say they're very livable neighborhoods. But if I zoomed out further and we went all the way north, so instead of LA proper, we went all the way to like the valley, so north of Glendale, you can again find some places that are pretty nice for $300 to $350. And at any point, if you're willing to spend $500, which for me would be paying $200,000 down and then financing another $300,000 or $250,000 for the next 10 to 15 years, that would come out to somewhere around $200 a month, well, I would have that opportunity, right? I would be able to just do that. I prefer not to use a mortgage if I don't have to. And I think that's one of the things that has been really nice about my previous purchases, the condo I purchased in Spain and the condo I purchased in San Diego. I mean, those are great. Those are cash purchases. So let's take a look, see if we can pull this guy back up. So do a search in LA, 550, condo. All right, what do we got? Little bit slow. In fact, I was going to show you guys some rent as well. And usually I do my rent searches in Craigslist, but I think, well, it's always tough, right? Because some places where you rent, there's a lot of, like, if it's a popular neighborhood, like 5 or 6 people apply, and then you got to wait, and that's always a headache. And I don't want to rent something for 12 months. I don't want to rent something long term. I prefer to have something for the short term, because chances are my travel to places like this is going to be short term. It's not going to be long term. By the way, downtown LA, pretty nice place. Not the safest to walk around, and certainly not the cleanest, but you can find fairly affordable apartments for, under around 300, under 400,000, which are very cute. They're very nice, and I think people don't realize that that these things are available. Now you might say, why would I get a condo? I got the HOA dues and I got all that stuff to worry about. You do. But if you're not there a lot, one of the advantages of having a condo is that it is sort of taken care of. There's a lot of other people around. You're probably going to meet neighbors. Somebody can take care of your place. A house really does have a lot of costs, like the roofing, the plumbing, the maintenance, the termites, the earthquake, the foundation cracks. All of that is yours. If there's a pool, if there's a backyard, a front yard, all of that landscaping and all that stuff is on you. And I think that does add up. But yeah, you can see over here, 400,000, 500,000. And I probably could lower the price just to get a better idea of what's available under 550,000. And there's quite a lot. In fact, let's do that. I think it's my computer that's a bit slow today, kind of like myself. I've only had 3 cups of coffee. I'm not quite ready for prime time. Well, okay, what else can I say in the meantime? Okay, what about living outside of LA? So for those of us who are physicians and can do telemedicine and are willing to be a bit outside of LA, I think you have some wonderful opportunities. You can be in 29 Palms, you can be in Joshua Tree, you can be in Palmdale, you can be, well, no, not Palmdale, sorry. You can be in Palm Desert, you can be in, anyway, those kind of neighborhoods. And that is about 2 to 3 hours outside of LA. So that's kind of a pain in the ass, but you have access to closer airports. If you want to, you can fly in and out of there. And the other great thing about it is you get to live in a house, full-on house, for rather cheap. Then you can come into the city here, into LA, and stay maybe 2 or 3 nights and maybe organize all your friends and everybody that you want to see at that time. Now, that's for somebody who's just like, hey, I just need to be in California, I need to be in LA, so I'm in close proximity to people I want to drive around and get to and see. That's an option. But for other people who are like, no, I just want to be in LA to experience everything, the coffee shop, the restaurant scene, etc. Well, that doesn't make sense to be that far out and then commute that much into the city center. I think that's a pain in the ass. So let's see. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. I just wanted to fix this. So now we're in the 350 range, and you can see this is obviously something very close to the 101 freeway. That's not desirable to me. It's too loud. Even if I just come in for a few days, I prefer to not be bombarded with noise. So I always try to search for units which are a little bit further away from the freeway. Now, you're going to give something up for that. Maybe you're not going to get a lot of light, etc. But at least it's a bit more peaceful, and you can stay there longer. You can last a little bit longer. So I think if you got decent neighbors, not a lot of pollution, noise pollution, or just regular pollution, like really dirty cockroaches, etc., all around you, I think you can last. You can last in that place a little bit longer until you find a long-term place to live. Maybe you're like, hey, you know what? I like this. I'm going to be in LA for a year or two. Or you're going to find an Airbnb, but you want to wait, right? Because it's like you want a few more days to find that right Airbnb, and you need a place to live in the meantime. And I think that's what is really, really nice about having a place. This So Glendale's now a really, really nice neighborhood and like very desirable. Back when I was in medical school in LA, it wasn't all that. And I think being able to find a place in Glendale under 300 is going to be really difficult. I put 350, and there was one unit here that popped up. We'll see if I can find it again, but I may not. All right. Sorry, guys. I know my computer is a bit slow, but you're getting an idea now that we're moving a little bit further north and west of LA. We're in the Burbank and Sherman Oaks area, kind of the Van Nuys area. These neighborhoods, you can definitely find stuff in the $300,000 range. Now, is it nice? Is it desirable? Probably not as much, but the HOAs are still affordable. The property taxes are still affordable, and you are still within driving distance to go see somebody. You can leave super early in the morning, or you can leave in the middle of the day when there's no traffic and come back late at night. It's still possible. Now, I don't know how nice some of these units might be that are just selling for $219,000. But again, I don't think you should dismiss it. I mean, these are some of the opportunities that people will totally bypass. They'll be like, no, it's not possible. It's unsafe neighborhood. No way no way you can get anything for that price. But I do think you should look. I really do think it's an incredible opportunity to look for these kinds of options. All right. So I know we're jumping all over the place, but I thought it would be worthwhile for me to also show you Portland real quick. When I was talking about those prices, it came to my mind. I'm like, you know what? Portland is incredibly dirt cheap. This is my apartment complex right here. And you can see this unit is selling for $109,000. It's a really pretty apartment complex, and it's well maintained. This looks to be the first floor over here. And it's a studio apartment. It's super small, 250 square feet. It's got a little kitchenette over here. They put a bunk bed there for God knows what reason. And you got the view of trees, and they got a little work desk over there. And for $109,000, you can live in this place. You got a bike garage, and you got this common area, which is not pretty, I know, but it's close to everything. It's close to everything you want it to be. I mean, I've even thought about that, just buying that and just renting that out. I mean, that's a really solid income. So these are all the different opportunities and great things that you can purchase. I don't think you should pass up on these kinds of things. So back to LA, and this is the downtown one. Now, $289,000. You are in the heart of downtown. Is it amazing? Is it incredible? No, but I think the HOA dues are under 300. I think it was 250. It's pretty, it's cute, it's old school. And you're looking at somebody else's wall. Yes, those are some of the downsides, but it is the kind of place that you can probably land and be comfortable in, and you can rent it in the meantime. And I think that's kind of the advantage of a place like this, is like, hey, at least I can rent it. I can have some income coming in from this. And this one, I think the HOA is 330. It's $350,000. This is the one that was in Glendale. Yeah, that was the one in Glendale that I found. It is a bit too close to the freeway for my liking. I don't like pools in an apartment complex, so that's another big downside. No, thank you. I think that's it. I don't think there's any other photos of this. Okay, that's odd. So we'll close this one out, but apparently it's available. Who knows? Maybe it's not a real listing. This one's $290,000 a month for HOA. Only costs $219,000, and you can tell there's a reason why it costs so much. You can see the ceilings are super low, super dark. The kitchen doesn't look very nice, but who knows? Maybe the view out there is really, really cute. Not a lot of light coming in over here. Pretty dark overall, and the floors are pretty nasty. You can tell it's like really bad tile job. But $219,000, you can be in LA, right? You can land in LA. If it's a safe neighborhood, and I think this one is in a safe neighborhood in the Valley, it's a place that you can at least rent out to somebody who wants to be there long term, or you can rent it out month to month. There are some issues if you're thinking about doing Airbnb. I generally don't like to rely on Airbnb, but if you do want to rely on Airbnb, I think it's worth considering other options, because what if you want to rent it out on Airbnb and Airbnb rules change? Or what if your HOA says you cannot do Airbnb, you cannot do short-term rentals? Now, no HOA will ever say you are never allowed to rent your place. That's just not the way HOAs work. But it is still something to consider. Sylmar. Now, Sylmar isn't a bad neighborhood. I used to work there. There was a clinic over there. Actually, which neighborhood was this one in that I showed you guys for 200 and, how much was this? 219. This was in Panorama City. Still not a bad neighborhood. In Sylmar over here, apartment 16 is 233. It's got a big HOA at 335, but that usually means that there's a pool or something over there. It's got some green over there. It's not too bad. Looks like pretty old school windows, and yeah, I mean it's not a nice apartment complex, no doubt. It doesn't have the nicest cars there, and there's no interior photos, so gives you an idea of what you're dealing with. But again, if you can bump it up to $400,000, if you can bump it up to $500,000, you're going to get a lot more options. In Orange County, there are a lot of people who already moved to Orange County. To me, as you get further to Orange County, you're away from LA. If you go to San Diego, you're away from LA. So I think if you're going to be in Orange County, there really aren't a lot of work opportunities to me still in Orange County compared to LA. So I would rather just be closer to San Diego if that's the case. So that's to give you guys an idea of what it is like to purchase a place if you're willing to invest and carry that cost for a long time. The value probably is never going to go up that much. It's never going to be that impressive, but it will nevertheless be some sort of a cash cushion that you'll have when you sell it. And the capital gains of it, if you've lived in it for 2 years, will be tax-free for now. They may not be tax-free in the future, up to $250,000 for one person. If there's a lot of inflation, that's another big reason to consider buying, because it's a bit of a good inflation protection to have that. Final thing I do want to take you through is rental. I put the max at $2,200, minimum at $1,200 on Craigslist in Los Angeles. The reason I did that is because by the time you're paying $2,200, you've also given a down payment, and you got internet, which is probably going to cost you over $100. You got water, electricity. All those costs kind of add up. Now, again, this is downtown Los Angeles here for reference. And if you look over here is where this is the neighborhood that I'm living in right now. And you can see there's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath available for $1,200. It seems to be doesn't look like a 1-bedroom. Looks to be a studio to me. I could be wrong. I mean, this is not the kind of, it is going to be really difficult, and you got to sign a 12-month contract. Remember that. And this one is $2,100. Over here, it's a nice neighborhood, 1850. It actually looks good. But remember, you got to furnish this as well. You got to put in quite a bit of money in a short period of time to make that habitable. And I still would argue that it's not that cute. Not that cute of a place. Everything else here is 1950. 1950 looks to be the same listing. Up here, there are some good neighborhoods, but for $1,700, you're getting a really, really beat up place with just not a lot of light. And I think, let's say I do decide to move to the Glendale neighborhood. Okay, so let's say I find something over here for $1,600. It's not bad. It's not bad. Again, I think weighing that, imagine having to pay that $1,600 over 12 months. And then if you do want to stay longer, that $1,600 might immediately go up to $1,800, might go to $1,900. Somebody might want to sell it and you have to move, right? So those are some of the things that I think about when I think about rental. And I think rent is still an incredible option if you want to have that flexibility, but I don't think it's too bad to consider putting a good amount of money down. That's it, guys. Take care. Let me know what you think.